Hi folks, Dr. Bob McCauley, and I'm taking on Dr. Mercola, a medical doctor, and just his, the depth of ignorance about the most important thing you can possibly put into your body, water. Here's my rebuttal. Okay, so here's Dr. Mercola, and he's got Houston, I think it's Tomaz or whatever, he never pronounces his name, who knows about water, and he's been in the business like 10 years or something like this. You know what? He knows about like water filtration, that kind of stuff. This guy knows nothing about health. And if you look at my raw food pyramid, water's on the bottom because that's what we need the most of. So Mercola, for whatever reason, decides to get this guy on and talk about alkaline ionized water and ionized water and how terrible it is. Really? Let me just say, their evidence is pretty slim, to say the least.
But even more importantly, from the quality of the water, I don't think that we were designed to drink alkaline water, at least all the time. I mean, my understanding, some of the healthiest waters may be even acidic, at least from some of these mountain springs and such. So,
okay, that sounds pretty vague, like you're just kind of making it up as you go. We weren't designed to drink alkaline water. Well, yeah, I think we were designed to drink alkaline water. So there you go. Now, see, he says, I don't think we were, and I say, I think we were. I've been drinking alkaline water between a pH of 9.5 and 10 for 20 years. I feel fantastic. And then maybe some of the best water is even suggested that it comes from the acid water of mountain springs. Well, can I see some evidence for that? Who suggested this and why this acid water from mountain springs, which is next to impossible to find, would be healthier for you than alkaline water?
So I think the central guiding natural process that I try to follow is that I don't think you're going to find naturally occurring alkaline waters. I mean, just
not at a level of 10 or 12 or 13.
No.
Well, Trinity Springs is actually, I think it's out in New Mexico or Arizona or something. You can look that up. It's a pH of 9.5. They're coming right out of the ground. That's pretty alkaline. And then in this Houston, he says, well, not at a pH of 12 and 13. Well, who says you should drink water at those levels? Anybody? I mean, even some of the multi-level marketing companies will tell you to drink it at 11, which is way too high. 12 or 13? You can't get alkaline water out of a water ionizer anywhere near that level. They're just, again, making it up.
So when you try to play with natural processes and think that academically, intellectually, you're superior, what's happened over thousands of years, that you're going to produce a better. Sometimes you can, but when you do that, you have to be really careful, and especially with something foundational like water. So I like to keep it as simple and basic and as close to we find in the natural environment as possible.
I love these interviews and these discussions when it's the facts serve them, it's the facts. And then when intuition serves them, well, what's the intuition? Well, which is it going to be? Because my intuition, and as well as the facts, tell me we should be drinking water on the alkaline side, and I like 9.5 to 10, and I'll get into that reason why. But that's what my intuition tells me, and the facts tell me that we should be drinking about 1 gallon to 1.5 gallons of water in every single day.
I mean, millions of years of evolution can't be all that wrong.
Yeah, well, there's a number of people who would dispute the millions of years, but certainly...
Here's one right here, millions of years of evolution. That's a good one. He said thousands. Yeah, let's just throw millions of years of evolution can't be wrong. And what does that even mean? Are you trying to tell me that, we've been around for millions of years, and so now it's just, there's no question about it, this is the water we should be putting in, and it should be a neutral pH. What? Or it should be acid. What? I mean, again, let's get down to the hard facts of this. I don't see any here at all. I just see conjecture. I see two guys sitting there talking about just sort of their opinions on water, and I don't see anything backing that up at all with as far as any kind of facts.
That all of our water should have minerals in it.
Well, if it doesn't, it's a problem.
Right.
This is incontrovertible, absolute, documented fact that if you are having demineralized water, you invariably suffer some health consequences as a result of that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Now, the the argument of alkaline versus acidic water, which is best, I've been and seen both sides of the fence. So I feel that if you're close to 7, you can't be all that wrong. I personally believe that alkaline water is better for you.
So maybe 6 to 8, somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
When you start going beyond that,
6.5 to 7.5.
7.5, 7. So even
These
more.
guys for real. What are you just sitting around throwing out numbers 6.5, 7? What are they betting on something here? I mean, it's like, listen, don't ask me about baseball statistics because I don't know anything about baseball. Okay, so it's like me sitting around. Well, an RBI or his lifetime average here of 500. It's 322. It's pretty good. Yeah, okay, let's do a 325. Huh? These guys are just making up numbers here, and anybody's going to take this seriously? God, I can't believe it.
More defined.
Right.
It's probably a healthy range to shoot for.
If you go to the bottom of the spectrum and take some hydrochloric acid, it'll eat through your pants. If you go to the other end of the spectrum and get some lye, it'll eat through your pants.
Right.
So
okay, thanks for letting us know what will eat through our pants, Houston. It's very helpful. Thank you.
So my feeling is the closer to the middle you are, the better we are for what our body's processes are designed to operate on. The reason why I personally, and this is just my personal opinion, feel that alkaline water is optimal is because by definition you can't have free radicals in an alkaline environment. There's no loose hydrogen atoms flying around looking for electrons.
That's a good point.
So I feel that if you want to minimize the possibility of having free radicals in your body, keep your body alkaline and your body will stay in balance that way. Now again, I don't have the medical background you do at all. I just know water. Yeah. So my feeling is I always like a pH above 7.
Cool. 2 quick points here. We're back to this is an opinion, in my opinion, well, in my opinion too. Okay, so if we're doing opinions here, let's do opinions and quit with the idea that there's some kind of scientific basis for what you're actually, presenting here, what the ideas that you're putting forth about alkaline ionized water. Let's just stop with the pretense, because this is all opinion. Okay, number 1. Number 2, Houston, it sounds like you're making, my point, saying you need more alkalinity in the body because free radicals won't exist, or they don't thrive in an alkaline environment. You're 100% right. So I appreciate that. And one little question, he says, I don't have any of the medical background that you have, and he starts talking about free radicals. Why would you need a medical background to discuss free radicals? Since when does a doctor know anything about free radicals and what happens in the body? I mean, they don't know anything about this. This is really a health question. This is what I talk about all the time. Doctors, please just stay with your medical stuff over here, and I'll stay out of it because I don't know anything about your medical, procedures or your anything regarding pharmaceuticals or any of this kind of stuff. And please just stay out of our way if you're going to pretend to say, oh, I'm a doctor, and then now I'm going to talk about health. Well, you can talk about health, but quit trying to do both and say both are valid. Because when it comes to health, medical doctors don't know anything about health. Okay? And Mercola might know a lot. In fact, I'm sure he does know a lot, but that's not the point. We don't need to go to the medical world to understand health or free radicals or any of the other science of the body. That's really the most important point here.
The ionizers, they give you that range of 9 to 13 and 4 to 2 on the low side, and it's not enough.
Actually, Houston, they don't produce that kind of extreme waters. You don't really get a pH between 2 and 4 on the acid side, and 9 and 13 or something on the alkaline side. Maybe in a commercial water ionizer where you're adding sodium to the water and you're really pushing it out, and that would be for commercial applications. But for the average water ionizer, they don't really produce anywhere near that. So you're totally misinformed here.
And they're creating 2 streams. So you have 50% wasted water because you have an alkaline stream and an acidic stream that goes down the drain.
Okay, you're really not electrocuting the water, because that sounds like something kind of weird. You're not taking electrical wires and sticking them in the water and shorting something out. The process is called electrolysis, using an anode and a cathode. Positive and the negative rods, you're putting them in the water and you're creating electrolysis. And what this does by putting this very low voltage into the water is make things happen in the water. And what we're doing here is we're creating positive negative ions, and then we're separating them. And we're sending one set of ions, the negative through one side and the positive toward the other. You're really not losing 50% of the water, but anyway, you can save that water. That's the acid water. If you want to call it waste, you can save it, and it has incredible uses. Plant growth, outside of use on the outside of the body, takes out wrinkles. Does all sorts of incredible things. Cuts, scrapes, rashes, heal very quickly. It's great for brushing your teeth. It has amazing uses. But the idea that you're just wasting it, well, that's your choice, but you don't have to waste it.
They do make outrageous claims for health. Those are short-lived. Companies just can't do that. Yeah. I will tell you that many of the major ionizer companies in the U.S. sell my products as pre-treatment devices. Mm-hmm. They can't use reverse osmosis, right, because the process doesn't work correctly for ionizing when there's no minerals present. So they use a selective filtration device like the technology that we use, so that they can actually take out some contaminants, because those ionizers don't remove anything
that's
from
an
the
important
water.
point to consider. Very important.
Okay, well, I don't make outrageous claims. I don't know who these companies are, and I wish you would stop taking MLM companies or some other illegitimate company or some legitimate company that makes a bunch of crazy claims about something and then say this applies to all water ionizers and this applies to ionized water and the concept of drinking alkaline ionized water altogether. Please stop doing that. I don't care what they're doing. And as far as something not taking out things out of the water, or that water ionizers don't take things, yeah, they all have a pre-filter. Every water ionizer on the market that's out there now has pre-filter. And so you can pre-filter your water right there. Ours has a particulate filter and a carbon KDF filter. What else do you want? I mean, you want even better filtration? Okay, you can use a pre-filter, but don't tell me it doesn't take anything out at all. Yes, it most certainly does.
It is an SF, or they'll lean on their UL mark. What they're not telling you is those certifications are electrical components that we're not going to burn your house down. Those have nothing to do with water quality. So when you see those...
Important distinction in an area that creative marketers can give you the impression that it's certified, and it is truly certified. It's not illegal. But it's unethical and it's deceptive.
Correct.
Because they're leading you to believe that it was tested and certified for the water when it was tested for another component.
Right, and all the outlandish medical claims that they make. I get emails from these people all the time, and I'm telling you, this is a short-lived industry.
We're kind of going on a tangent to certifications, but are we still talking about the alkaline water system?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a short-lived industry, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's pretty short-lived. I've only been doing it now over 20 years, and I've only been drinking alkaline ionized water for 20 years. So it's pretty short-lived. You know, alkaline ionized water is always going to be out there, and guys like these can really spout their nonsense. It's not that they don't know what they're talking about. That's what it really comes down to here. They really don't have their facts down at all about these units, and they start talking about UL certification. Well, the truth is, if you really want to know about it, you can't import any kind of a device into this country that doesn't have UL certification of some sort. So you have to do it. And again, with the outrageous claims, I don't have any outrageous claims. I'm telling you, you need to hydrate, alkalize, and detoxify your body and push the things out of there that don't belong. And alkaline ionized water does that very effectively. I have explained this dozens of times. But they apparently haven't seen my videos or really haven't done the research that's necessary here.
Alkaline water, I mean, when you're in a chemistry lab, you can make reactions, you can facilitate reactions by adjusting the pH of water. Mm-hmm. So I do see a place for ionizers industrially. But when it comes to human health, we don't know if it's good for you to drink water with a pH of 10 or to wash your skin with water with a pH of 3.
Because the studies haven't been done.
Right.
Clearly there's anecdotal components, and there's some elements of justification for that, but just looking at this from a logical, intuitive perspective and putting your natural thinking cap on is probably not going to be your best long-term solution when you're drinking.
Well, okay, my thinking cap is on, and my antennae are up, and I think intuitively, I think that alkaline ionized water does belong in the body. pH 9.5 to 10, definitely not any higher than that. I think that's what you should drink it all day long, not around mealtime, and never more than 1 liter per hour of any kind of water, and that's it. And the precious studies, the studies haven't been done. Those studies. you know, I'm not going to totally tell you that, you know, throw studies and scientific studies out the window, because I use them myself all the time. But, you know, who's going to make money off of scientific studies on this? And me, am I going to? You know, I would take every dime of profit I have ever made off of water ionizers over the last 20 years to have a study. Oh, the precious studies. Nobody's paid for a study because the pharmaceuticals can see they're not going to make any money off of this. So why would they make a study? So enough of the studies haven't been done. If you think this is so terrible, why don't you do a study? And will they be used industrially? Absolutely. And you know, the industrial uses of ionized water are amazing, and you know, they haven't even begun to be explored, and it's an industry just waiting to happen out there. But enough with the studies and all this other kind of stuff that we just can't drink anything, we can't do anything until we have studies. We can't know, can we move to a raw food diet without studies? Oh, let's wait for all the studies. Enough with the studies, okay? Drink it. I've been studying it for 20 years. I'm the study. I'm my own credentials, and I feel great. And by the way, I was running that last little segment there and talking. As you could see, there are 15 pages of studies. That's just the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot more than that. So there's plenty of studies that have been done about ionized water and the effects on human health. Tons of them.
That doesn't appear this way in nature.
Right. Well,
actually, it does appear in nature, Dr. Mercola. It does appear in nature, and I have been saying that for 20 years. It appears in nature. I wrote it in my book, The Miraculous Properties of Ionized Water. And if you want to go read another book by a PhD by the name of Dr. Gerald Pollack from the University of Washington, it's called The Fourth Phase of Water. And he confirms that ionized water, what he calls easy water, exclusion zone water, because it pushes everything out that's not in its own zone, is everywhere in nature. It's everywhere in the body. It's created, constantly in nature. It doesn't last long because it always gets, mollified by some other element in nature. But it's everywhere in there. So there you go again. You're wrong. You don't know what you're talking about. In fact, here's a little clip of me and Dr. Pollack confirming that ionized water is found in nature. And I always postulated that ionized water is found in nature because everyone says it isn't. It's found in nature, and it's exactly like nature. And then again, that's what makes it so special and so unique, and the fact that it's structured, of course.
Well, I think you're onto something when it resembles nature. If you look at the
By the way, Dr. Mercola, you've interviewed that guy at least once, I think twice, Dr. Pollack, and he confirms everything that I say about ionized water, and he does to you. I was listening to that interview between you and him, and I'm thinking to myself, this is ionized water. You don't get it. You still don't get it. Okay.
Yeah, and I think this may be more of a public health service announcement to really warn people that if you are consuming alkaline water, an ionizer, you really want to give that a second thought, and maybe you want to eliminate it from your house, and certainly not promote or recommend it to anyone else, because more than likely in the not too distant future this is going to be well known and publicized, and these devices will not even be available anymore.
It's a public service announcement. Thank you, Dr. Mercola. It's a public service announcement. If you better think twice about drinking that alkaline ionized water. They're not going to be on the market too much longer. I wanted to revisit this because this was a big deal years ago when this came out. 7 years ago when they first released this video, Houston and Dr. Mercola. And I just, ran across it on the internet again. I'm looking at it and I'm going, they won't even be available in 7 years. They're available. I still sell them. There's MLM companies out there. All sorts of people still sell water ionizers. So you're wrong. They're just going to go away. Well, they didn't go away. And as a matter of fact, since this interview, you have interviewed Dr. Pollack about, the fourth phase of water, about easy water, which is called ionized water. And it's still apparently either you won't admit that you were wrong or it still hasn't sunk in. Okay? But he confirms everything that I say about ionized water. Go back and listen to your own tapes with Dr. Pollack. Dr. Mercola?
When you're selling a product that 10 people get a commission on, it's expensive.
Yeah.
So I can guarantee you there's cheaper ways for you to get water with an alkaline pH out there.
Oh, really? What are those ways? Can you tell me what those ways are, Houston? Can you find something that's going to, for much cheaper, to deliver a negative ORP? If you get something like that, if you get something that structures the water into hexagonal water molecule clusters, something with an abundance of electrons for cheaper, Houston, have you got it? My email is bob@watershed.net. Can you shoot us an email and maybe just let us know where those are now that you made the statement? Do you want to back that up? Bet you can't.
The challenge in many of these multi-level corporations is they'll take a kernel of truth and then spread it into these other levels and that really are really unrelated to the original reason that they're promoting.
Right, and the distributors make their own claims.
Yeah.
When you're sitting in somebody's sitting in your living room, they feel like they can tell you anything they want. They're not going to get in trouble.
Yeah. And for the most part, that's true because the FDA or the FTC is not scrutinizing every word they're saying.
No.
Okay, enough with the MLMs. Enough with the, this is a bad product because an MLM sells it. Okay, enough. It's just enough. I don't care what MLMs do. Okay, what do they embellish things. They make a bunch of claims. What do you want me to do about it? You telling me this is a bad product because people sit in people's living rooms and make a bunch of claims that may or may not be true? That's enough. It's enough of this blaming the whole thing and saying how ridiculous this is because some MLM companies sell this thing. Okay, some of them. I'm not an MLM. I don't make outrageous claims. Go look on my website. You won't see that this is a cure for this disease or that disease or any other kind of disease. I tell you how to be healthy. I tell you how to hydrate your body. Enough with the MLMs. Okay, I'm not an MLM, and I'm not going to be responsible for what an MLM says, whether they're right or not. Everybody knows that how this works with an MLM. But this is a great product. So quit denouncing it by saying an MLM is taking hold of it. Okay, well, then it's no good. If we started doing that, then a lot of great products out there would just be taken off the shelf because it's being multi-level marketed. Okay, you can watch this entire interview, but that's the meat of what they were talking about as far as ionization and just how, they're kind of just throwing out some ideas. There's no science there at all. He's just once again kind of saying, well, you probably just don't want to drink alkaline water. And we never find out really why. We don't find out, because of this reason or that reason. This reason or that reason. There's no reasons. It's intuitive. I'll say it one last time. My intuition says drinking alkaline ionized water is the healthiest thing you can possibly do, period. You never drink it around mealtime, before, during, or after, and you never drink more than 1 liter per hour. And if you do that, the healthiest thing you can possibly put into your body is alkaline ionized water. Dr. Bob McCauley, see you guys next time. I really love making these videos and defending the things that I believe in, and alkaline ionized water is one of them. I wrote the book on it, and it is the healthiest substance you can possibly put into your body. Don't forget to subscribe and watch some of the other videos on alkaline water. You're going to love them.